Let's start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Panchadasi, a text which reveals the subject in us. This is completely different than the objective sciences which we study in school and college or university. The subject in this body is called the I. The quest to search and to find out, to discover the nature of I is the spiritual science. It is a subjective science, very, very different than the objective science. Objective science deals with whatever the sense organs can perceive in the world. With the help of perceptions, science draws conclusions, inferences, and says this is the world. Whereas the rishis, who were the spiritual scientists, they looked at the world in a totally different way. Very, very different than what our normal scientists of this century look at. They have never considered existence, consciousness aspect of this world. Science cannot have any entry into these two areas. What is existent? When we say the world is existence, I experience the world, but then what is this existence principle in the world? That's extremely deep subject matter. And what is this consciousness? I know I am aware of the world. I know I am aware of this body. What is this awareness? This is the subject matter for the Upanishads. The Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, the three primary texts for Vedantic study. In these texts, we will find the description of the self. But a seeker wants to realize that self which is being described in these three texts in his own heart. Till then, there is no fulfillment in life. To know that there is God in the world, it doesn't fulfill me. I still remain as a samsari jiva because I feel I am limited. By this body, I am limited in thoughts. I am limited in every possible way. This limitation in us causes samsara. The sense of I, when I take it to the body or mind, it causes limitations. I am in this body, I am here in Singapore. I am not in India or in America or London. My intellect is extremely limited. It cannot understand beyond a certain sphere of knowledge. The sense organs are also limited. They cannot see further. They cannot hear a further area. So as an individual, I feel limited. But what the Upanishads teach us is Go beyond this body and mind and discover the truth of your reality, which is consciousness, which is existence, which is limitlessness. That is the subject matter for the entire Panchadasi. 15 chapters, all devoted to the study of this Sat Chit Anand. And this Acharya, this teacher, has got a very special method by which he reveals the truth about me. That is the speciality of this text. And it tells us a certain methodology. It follows a certain process of revealing the truth. In every chapter, you will find that there is a specific process which Vidyaranya Swami adopts to reveal the nature of Atma. In this particular 10th chapter, he focuses on Atma being self-evident, Swayam Prakasha, self-luminous, a light of consciousness. That is what he wants to reveal. And to reveal that, he has used an example of a dance stage. So you should not focus your attention on the dance stage so much. It is only an example. The focus should be on the consciousness, which is compared to the light in a dance hall. And compare the buddhi, our own intellect, mind, intellect instrument, with the dancer in the hall. That is the comparison we have to basically do. And then 26 verses are designed in such a way, it will reveal to us our nature and the basic fundamental definition of Atma you should always remember throughout the study of Panchadasi. Because Vidyaranya takes that for granted. Every chapter, Vidyaranya will reveal it. But you should note the fundamental definition, the most important definition in Tattva Bodha of Shankaracharya, which is Atma is beyond the three states of consciousness, the three states of the mind, waking, dream, and sleep. It is beyond the three bodies, the gross, subtle, and causal body. And it is beyond the 5 koshas, that 5 dresses for Atma, which is Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. This is the fundamental definition you should note all the time. This is the basis. This is the basis on which the entire 15 chapters have been written by Swami Vidyaranya. If you miss this point, you will not understand the chapter at all, because the chapter is trying to reveal Atma. It is not revealing our body or mind or the 5 koshas or the 3 states. It is revealing Atma. When you keep this as the main goal and go through these 26 verses, you will for sure understand the nature of Atma. There is no doubt about it. Each one of us can realize in our own heart, this is my nature. What is it? It is pure consciousness, which is an independent principle. It is not affected by the 3 states or the 5 koshas or the 3 bodies at all. As Atma, I am ever free from the body, ever free. I am always the consciousness principle. The experiences of the world come and go, but the light of consciousness, like the dancing hall light, always is shining. It is giving me the experience, and it is giving me the non-experience also, as in sleep state. So sakshi is what? Sakshi is something which reveals to me the world in the waking state, and it reveals to me the absence of the world in the sleep state. Who am I? I am the sakshi. And what is my nature? Pure Chaitanya, pure light which illumines, which makes the three states known to me. Sakshi or Atma is the light of knowingness. It is not the body. It is not the mind. It is the knower principle, which is subtlest in this creation. In this knowerness principle, this body is appearing in the waking, again it goes off in sleep, again the next day it comes, again it goes off. Therefore, the three states which I experience is nothing but a state of ignorance. Very, very important point to understand Mandukya Upanishad. If you don't understand what I'm saying right now, you will miss Mandukya. Waking state is a state of ignorance. Dream state is a state of ignorance. Sleep state is a state of ignorance. All these three states are superimposed on Atma, which is the substratum, the light of knowingness, the light of Chit, pure awareness. In this light, you can see the whole drama of waking, dream, and sleep coming and going. First, try to understand the Atma, the core of your personality first. And then apply what we study from the Mahavakya, which is Tat Tvamasi. After understanding the core and reaching that core, apply Tat Tvamasi. That means you, the indweller in this body, is the same as the indweller Ishvara in this whole universe. That is the ultimate teaching. And once this teaching is clear to me, I am free. Ever free. Tomorrow free, day after tomorrow free. I am always free from identification with the upadhi, the medium of transaction. So with this introduction, let me now jump into the verse where we stopped last week. We finished up to 14th verse. Now we will start the 15th verse, very, very important verse for self-realization. What does this verse say? Swasthanistito deepaha sarvato bhasayet yatha sthirasthayi tatha sakshi bahiranta prakashayet. This is a simple sentence which says that the light of consciousness does not move. It is stationary. It is always in one place, and it is the witness consciousness. And what does it illumine? It illumines the objects which are within and within the body, which is the mind operations, and it is the same light which is illumining outside, all outside the body, which is the world. So the world consists of two things: my own feelings and thoughts, and the objects and beings outside. Inside is with reference to the body. In this body, inside this body, there is a mind. This mind has got emotions. It has got identification with the body, and it says, I am a father, I am a mother. These are all concepts inside the mind, inside the intellect. And what does sakshi do? It is the illuminator of this intellect, the light in which we see all our thoughts, emotions, concepts, plans, our future imaginations, anxieties. All that is revealed to us by what? It is this sakshi, or what is called as the self. The self is the consciousness principle. It is not the body, it is not the intellect, it is not the mind, it is not the world, which is outside the body, which is coming into this body by way of perceptions. The five sense organs bring the world into my intellect, and I am able to perceive in the light of the sakshi. I am getting the picture of the world in my mind. I am not in the world, but the world is in me. Here, me stands for awareness, consciousness. Throughout these verses, 15 onwards to the 26th, it is the description of sakshi. And what is the mind? What is the body doing? What is the function of the body? What is the function of the mind? And what is the function of sakshi? Very deep analysis is being done in these mantras. So when you study this chapter, it is not a superficial study, but it is a study which is called as Adhyatma Yoga. You have to practice this Adhyatma Yoga, which means take the thoughts which are there in these verses, apply it to your own self. Apply it to your own mind. And then you see the result. When you make this application, then only you will be able to get the fruit of this knowledge. And the fruit of this knowledge is called as moksha, freedom. Freedom from identification with the mind as me. Sthirasthayi tatha sakshi. Sthira means steady. This sakshi is motionless. But the ego, which is a reflection of the mind in the light of consciousness, in the light of this sakshi, is having tremendous motion. because it identifies with the body, it identifies with the world. When the body is moving in a car, it says, I am moving. When the body is having thoughts, imaginary thoughts of the world, what's going to happen tomorrow, what will go, what are my plans for the next year and 2022, it is all projecting. These are all thoughts in motion. So when this sakshi looks at these thoughts in motion, it gets a picture. And that picture is almost similar to what we see in the TV. If you are able to purify your mind, you will see the same what you see in a TV show, in an outside external instrument, the same thing you can see it inside happening in your mind. This idea that I am the sakshi purifies the mind. Again and again, bring this thought to yourself. For 5 to 10 minutes every day, our acharyas tell us, get used to seeing your mind. And then you will see the gap between the mind and its thoughts. You will see that gap. That gap is illumined by consciousness. It helps me to become more and more aware of my own experiences. That is why I have this 10-minute meditation session, so that we get used to our mind. That's all. The 10-minute session will help you to understand your own mind. Because this is an exercise. Like a physical exercise which we do outside, this is a mental exercise. I go deep within my mind and I observe. And it's a training to observe my own thoughts. By doing that, I will understand there is a light in which I see the thoughts. And very naturally, you will slowly start identifying with the light as me and not the thoughts as me. This is what Panchadasi brings into our life. Every chapter, when we study, this drilling which happens inside our mind, the clarity which it brings, every chapter brings a clarity. Slowly it comes, because these are all verses which we have to absorb the knowledge. It is not like very fast you read a verse and then you just finish the chapter, like in Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, 10th chapter, 5th chapter, 12th chapter, so on. But these chapters are very, very deep. I am nothing that is perceived or conceived. Therefore, because why do I say this? Whatever is perceived is anatma. Whatever is conceived is anatma. It is changing. Whatever is changing is impermanent. Whatever is impermanent is false. The changeless illuminator is the truth. This is the way I should use Shastric logic, the Shastric method of reasoning, which is different than the Laukika, the external worldly logic. Sankhya Viveka talks about Dvaitam. Sankhya is also an Astika philosopher who believes in the Veda. Sankhya system takes both Purusha and Prakriti, matter and consciousness, as opposite to each other. And both are taken as real. Therefore, they end up in Dvaitam. What Vedanta talks about is Advaita. Vedanta says as long as you are taking the body and consciousness two separately, independently existing principles, you will be in samsara. I am the body, I am experiencing the world. I am the body, I am the consciousness in the body, I am experiencing the outer world. If this is your method, I am the Purusha, the light of consciousness, independently existing, and the world is independently existing. Both are anadi principles, beginningless and endless. In this method, it is called as Dvaitam. Whereas Vedanta says, unless and until there is a knowing principle, the known world independently does not exist. Very important principle. That is what is called as Satyam, the Sat principle. Sat and Chit are one and the same. If you say something is existent, which means that it is known. Whatever is existent is known. Sat and Chit are two sides of the same coin. What about the world? World is an appearance which comes in the light of consciousness and disappears in the same light of consciousness in the sleep state. So don't give too much importance to the world. The world includes the body, mind also. My own body, mind, senses is included in the world. Therefore, Vedanta says, Advaita Vedanta says that the three states are states of ignorance about the real Atma, which is my nature. I am Atma, body, mind merges in me. I alone am. That is the truth. Why do I say I alone am? Because in the light of consciousness, the whole world goes into unmanifest state. Again, it comes into manifestation. Again, it goes to unmanifest. What is discerned merges in you, the Atma. I am the witnessing awareness, Drik, the knower. So now you should be able to clearly say, I am the Drik, the observing principle. I am not the Drishyam. Drishyam is seen. Because the world is seen, I am not that. Body is Drishya, I am not that. It cannot stand independent of the Drik. You don't see the body and the world independently existing in any of the three states. But you experience your own self as independently existing in the sleep state, without the world. That is what you have to register. This registration is called as pratyavijna, recognition, that I alone am. Cognize the nature of the self. I am the pure being. And that pure being, without any thoughts in the mind or perceptions in the mind, is called as the presence. This is what is called as viveka, discrimination. Drik remains in the divine glory without the drishyam. So what is the real truth? What is the nature of the whole universe? It is this Drik. Drik means sakshi, Drik means consciousness, existence principle. There are no koshas other than the Atma. You start seeing the gold while seeing the ornaments. You start seeing the awareness when you are in the world watching your thoughts. The three states of mind are only superimpositions. They are coming, appearing, disappearing. This fact you should register in your mind. Many a times people do Mandukya Upanishad and they miss this point. What is the point they miss? That the waking state is an ignorance realm of ignorance. Dream is a realm of ignorance. Sleep is a realm of ignorance. Why do we say ignorance? Because in these three states, I am identified with either the physical body, the subtle body, or the causal body. But what is the truth? The truth is I am none of the three bodies. I am none of the three states. I am the sakshi of this. That sakshi is the awareness. That is the turiyam. So the first step of viveka is I am different and the body is different, mind is different. Once you have done this, what happens is you are in touch with your awareness consciousness. Then you have to apply the second step and say this consciousness is not limited to this body, but it is all pervading consciousness. It extends to till the end of cosmos. Wherever you go, you are this consciousness. Whenever you experience the body, you are this consciousness. So consciousness, awareness is first existing. And on top of that, the world comes, the mind comes, the ego I comes, which is the real culprit, the real villain in this whole drama. So Nataka Deepa Prakaranam is an epitome of Viveka. It tells you to drop your identifications and be one with the sakshi. The three states, which we call as the world, are ego's appearance. That ego I, the pramata I, joins the mind in the three states. Mind in ignorance in the sleep state, mind in subtle ignorance in the dream state, mind in total ignorance in the waking state. Completely ignorant. Because in the waking state, everything is present. Pancha koshas are there, the reflected consciousness is there, the original consciousness is there, but I am totally confused. So this way, when we study, we will be able to separate the consciousness. In all, the three states are called as mithya. Mithya means it is an appearance. It does not mean non-existence. It means appearance. Like the dream appears and goes, the waking appears and goes. We cannot say that the dream is existent principle or non-existent principle. Vedanta calls it mithya. Similarly, the state of waking, with so many complications in the waking state, all of them you bring it to one light. That light is the light of consciousness. That light is real, which is called as the observer, the experiencer, the lamp, and the whole three states are called as the dancer. In all relationships, you are identifying with the outside. That means when I'm identified as a mother, father, sister, brother, so on, we are all identifying with the world. Naturally, it happens. The moment I wake up, I get identified. I start my day with my children, with my family, and we start working around. All that is appearing. In this, again, it goes back to sleep. All these transactions, they are all happening at the Vyavaharika level. It's called as Vyavaharika Satta. Existence at a certain level. Whereas the Drik, the seer, is Paramarthika seer. The Sakshi is Paramarthika, higher level than the waker I. Turiyam is higher level than the waker I, dreamer I, sleeper I. From Atma side, Kshetram is appearance in ignorance. So why do I call it ignorant state? Only when I look at it as I am the sakshi. Suppose you say, I am the sakshi, I am the consciousness, I want to know what the world is. The Upanishads tell us that the world is mithya. Because you are understanding yourself as declared by the Upanishads. Tattvamasi. I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. You're standing on that pedestal, which is a higher pedestal compared to the Vyavaharika Pramata. Light on stage, Swasthana Samstito Deepaha. This is the words used in this particular verse. What it says is Swasthana Samstito Deepaha. The light on the stage does not move. It is in the same place. Movement belongs to thoughts, not to the Sat background, the Sakshi screen. This you have to apply in your own mind. When you have closed your eyes and you are understanding the mind, you should take the help of this statement. Whatever the thoughts are moving inside, they are in the background of the Sat, the consciousness principle. Can I see the Sat or the Chit? No. Because you'll be using the mind to see it. The mind cannot see it. You just have to accept the Shruti Vakyam as a Pramana. And when we see the movement inside, it is entirely a trick of the mind and the senses. It is not the reality. This consciousness is never a karta, never a doer. Whereas when you open your eyes and you see and you work in this thing, you feel that I am the doer. I walk, I eat, I take a bath, I do all this. But it is not, it is a reflection. Like you see in a mirror, right? When the mirror is placed, you immediately, automatically you see your image. So similarly, when the waking state comes, this mirror is opened up and you see the image of a body. Similarly, when the mirror is taken away in the sleep state, there is no more image, but the consciousness, the original face is always there, which is the sakshi, which is the light, which is the satchit principle. Mind-world interaction is for the karta, means the doer, who has identified with the body. At the level of Atma, I am not a doer, a karta. I am the real Satyam, Sakshi. I am changeless, very important. This factor, changeless, means nirvikara tattvam. It's a principle of consciousness. Nirvikara, it is not moving, motionless consciousness. What is moving? It is the thoughts. The buddhi, which is moving, is the changing ahankara. What is changing Ahankara? The moment I identified with certain thoughts in my mind about my son, I become the father. The moment I identified with what to cook, I become the cook. The moment I identify with what medicine to give to my patient, I become a doctor. The moment I disidentify from the patient, I am no longer the doctor, I am the pure sakshi. That is what we should understand. Once you understand, then you can take any role in life. As a mother, as a daughter, as a son, as a sister, whatever role comes in, whoever is in front of you on that particular moment of your life, you take that role. Take the role deliberately and drop the role deliberately is moksha. Taking the role as myself is bondage. Because then I am totally identified with that role. It's like an actor who thinks that the role he's playing as a beggar, he becomes a beggar itself he thinks that he himself is a beggar. This is where we have to understand the role of an actor. We are all actors in this world when we are in the waking state. We play our role properly, and then we go back to our green stage at the back when we are in the sleep state. That is our real state. Go behind the sleep state, because sleep state is also a state of ignorance. Events happen in the stage of matter, but there is no event happening in the light of consciousness. The light, Chaitanyam, abides in its own divine glory. That is the divinity in you. When you want to see the divinity in others, you should first see the divinity in you, then you can easily recognize the divinity in others. Sarvato bhasayed yatha. It illumines, does not do anything. So this sakshi, I have to know by jnanam. I have to remove the darkness of ignorance by bringing the light of knowledge. That is why the light of knowledge from the Veda is the pramanam. Like the eyes are the pramanam for the form and color, the Veda, the Upanishad is the light which tells me that light of consciousness exists in which I can see my mind and I know my emotions. 19th verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Yaenam veti hantaram, yachainam manyate hatam, ubhau tau na vijanitaha, ayam hanti na hanyate. In this verse, what Lord Krishna is teaching Arjuna is, the one who takes himself to be the doer, the slayer, and the one who thinks that he is slain, both of them do not know the truth. Because the person, individual, is not this ego. It is the light of consciousness in which this event is happening as per the law of prarabdha. Atma is not a doer. Gamana, agamana comes in the mind, in the ego, in the reflected consciousness, not in the original consciousness. Tatha sakshi sthirasthai. In the fleeting experience of the objective world, the constant factor in every experiencer of the experiencer and the experienced duality is this light called sakshi. This is the only way for us to free ourselves. Whenever we talk about moksha, it is freedom from the identity. It is a cognitive change in your intellect that comes about when you understand these verses correctly. Then the transformation happens, and then you can see whatever these verses say, every verse from 15 to 26, you will say yes, yes, yes to all. Because everything is clear, because you have understood the deeper sense of these verses. Illuminates means it illumines antaha and bahihi. We have seen this before. Anta means emotions and thoughts. Bahihi means the world, outside. Therefore, you're neither the internal or the external world. So you have to keep the world separately. World includes the ego I. It includes the memory I. It includes the chitta, it includes the chitta, ahankara, manas, and buddhi, and the chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. The external world, of course, very simple. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasagandha. Sarvatma bhava is important to note, because this is where you will then say Atma is all pervading, it is limitless. So understand Sarvatma bhava very clearly, because the consciousness existence principle in me is the same in the entire universe. Nothing is external or internal with reference to the consciousness. Everything is happening in the light of sakshi, which alone is real. We call all experienced world as prakriti, kshetram. These, each and every sentence which I'm saying this is got a very deep meaning. And it has got some background of Bhagavad Gita. Kshetra means it is prakriti, it is matter, it is appearance, it is changing. And I get overwhelmed by it. I get submerged by the experience, by this ego I, which identifies with the sense organs and the world. But the reality is what? I am not this. I am the changeless experiencer, the knower Chaitanyam, which is reflected in the mind, and then I am able to see the mind as the emotions, as the ego I, as the intellect. So the higher Viveka means I am the Turiya Atma, the pure I, Satchit Ananda principle. The ultimate realization is I am not the experienced and the experiencer pramata or the ego I, which is a reflection, which is an appearance. Why do we say that? Because the knowingness, the knowerhood also depends, it also is given, the title of knower is also given to the mind and the senses with reference to the world. With reference, this you have to use the logic of Drik Drishya Viveka. With reference to the world, the senses are the knower. With reference to the senses, the mind is the knower. And what is the ultimate knower? The sakshi, which knows the mind, is the ultimate knower. As ultimate knower, I transcend all the time the duo of experiencer and experienced. There is no experience or experiencer at any time in the three states without the presence of sakshi. This is very important. In my presence means in my pure awareness, which is my real ultimate state, which the Gita and the Upanishads have told me, has taught me. That is the pramanam I'm using to come to this state of Turiya. the pure presence. I am able to understand this only because I take that as a pramanam. Like I use my eyes to know, my ears to know the sound, I take the Shruti as the pramanam. For sakshi, for turiya, there is no other pramanam, there is no other source of knowledge except the Veda. Experienced and the experienced duality both are illuminated by sakshi. The light in between can exist independently. And all illumination flows from sakshi, not from the sun, moon, or stars, as given in the Katho Upanishad mantra, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Sakshi is like the mine worker's headlamp. You might have seen in the newspapers, mine worker with the headlamp goes deep inside the mine to get the diamonds or to bring the coal outside the mine. That headlamp, which is the light, is the sakshi. Awareness, pure consciousness, in that headlamp light only you're going deep into all the 5 koshas. That light of consciousness, right from the Annamaya kosha to the Anandamaya kosha, you have to use that light. And then drop all the 5 koshas, drop the 3 shariram, the gross body, subtle body, and the causal body, and then arrive at I am that pure light. I experience the pure awareness without the mind and the senses and the world. Any experience which we say is an experience is always in conjunction with the mind and the sense organs. Without the mind, there is no experience. But without the mind, there is existence of pure awareness. I'm aware of all my experiences is a practical implication of understanding this sakshi. Suppose you come to know I am the sakshi. What will happen to you? The first thing is you will not identify with the body at all as the real you. You will not say I was born and I will go. You will say I am ever there. I am the immortal light of consciousness. You have moksha right now here. No more waiting after 5 years after completing the 1500 verses of Panchadasi. No. No. Because I have understood the topic so well. The love for inner freedom, freedom from the mind's identifications, emotions. That is what is called as moksha. So in this one verse, there's so much of meaning in it. The 15th verse is extremely important in our study. Now let us go to the 16th verse. I'll try to introduce this and maybe we can finish it in the next time. The 16th verse, Bahirantar vibhagoyam dehapeksho na sakshini vishaya bahya deshastha dehasyantar aham kriti. What does this say? The distinction between external and internal objects refers to the body. It is not to the witness consciousness, which I have explained in the previous verse also. So it will be easy and fast to understand this verse. The sense objects are outside the body, whereas the ego is within the body, which you will all understand. Ego is something inside the body. It is not outside. Ego, I. When I say I, is it something outside? No. It is something inside this body. And what about the objects of the world? Is it inside the body? No, objects are outside. So that is what this verse is saying. Bahirantar vibhagoyam deha apeksha na sakshini. Within is the ego, external is the sense object, sakshi is timeless, experientially everything is within you. This is an important statement to understand. Whenever you study the subjective science, you have to note this one fundamental principle. What is that? Kaivalya Upanishad gives this one verse, I think it's the 19th or 20th verse, which says, Mayeva sakalam jatam, mai sarvam pratishthitam, mai sarvam layamati. That verse will tell you, I have to always end my spiritual study. At the end of the day also, when you go to sleep, this thought should come. This whole world has come from me, and the whole world was existing in me, and the whole world is now resolving in me the consciousness when I go to sleep. This is called as the Adhyatma Yoga. Subjective science. The emphasis is given to the subject, not to the objective world. The predominance is given to the subject consciousness. If you understand the 15th verse very well, it is easy to accept this. And what is that sakshi? It is not in the realm of time. That is why we say it is paramarthika. If it is in the realm of time, it will be in the realm of ignorance. Either in the waking ignorance, dream ignorance, sleep ignorance. But if it is sakshi, it is not in the realm of ignorance, it is in the realm of knowledge. This difference you should understand. Realm of ignorance, realm of knowledge. Realm of knowledge comes only because of the pramanam which we are using, which is the Veda pramanam. The realm of ignorance comes because of our sense organs and the mind which experience the world. Within and without is not with reference to the sakshi, but it is with reference to the body. That is the main essence of this 16th verse. For example, Ganga water, we say is me. When I drink that water, I take the Ganga water. If I drink it, I say the water belongs to me. If I take it in a cup and I expel it, what I say is, it is mine. When I take that water into the cup and I hold the cup, I say this Ganga water is mine. But was the real Ganga water mine? No, it was always separate from you. Water was not mine before, it became me, and then no more mine. Suppose it has gone into the body, you don't say it is my water, it is no more Ganga water. You say it is me. In this creation, nothing is me or mine with reference to the consciousness, because everything is dropped in the world of Vyavahara. The realms are different. Consciousness is in a higher realm. Me and mine stops at the relative waking or dream state. Sakshi is the center of illumination, awareness, not within or without. Vishaya bahya deshataha. Objects within the hall and outside the hall. So sakshi is like the param. It's like the space which transcends the objects in the hall. You see, in a hall, the space, when you say, the space accommodates all the objects, but it is separately existing. Can the objects exist without the space? No. Therefore, objects are relative, space is transcendental. Similarly, consciousness, which accommodates all the thoughts, all the objects, all the beings in the world, is param. Param means supreme. It is between the subject and the object because it is required for the experience of the subject and object. But it can stand alone. Gold pervades the chain, yet it is beyond the chain. Dehasyantara aham kritihi means, okay, what I'll do is I'll stop here because time is up today, and I will continue this particular slide next week. We'll just, okay, let me finish this slide. It's not, it's only one slide. With reference to the body, the ego is internal aham kritihi. That I notion is internal to the body. Senses, mind, intellect, they all operate within the body. Objects are outside. Now, sakshi should not be identified with the body because it is an independent principle. Therefore, if you accept this sakshi as an independent principle, you will get this sarvatma bhava. That is a very, very important factor which I said. As long as you identify with the body, senses, and the mind as me, you cannot get the sarvatma bhava. The moment you say, I am not the three, I am sakshi, then automatically you are one with the sakshi, the total consciousness in this whole cosmos, which is referred as Tat. In the Tattvamasi, Tat stands for the Supreme Paramatma, which is the entire cosmos. The implied meaning of Tat is this total consciousness. Tvam stands for the consciousness in this individual body. Individual body. Tat stands for the total body of the cosmos. But what is common between the two when you take the implied meaning? The commonness is the consciousness. That is what is called as Tattvamasi. When the Guru says Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, you should immediately understand the Guru is talking about the consciousness. The nature of sakshi is it is an illuminator of Triputi. It is a non-participating illuminator. It doesn't participate. That is why it's called a sakshi. And it is not changing illuminator. That is why it is called as the substratum. Simultaneously, it illumines the entire world, not sequentially. Whole world, as soon as you wake up in the morning, the whole world comes into your vision. Unlocated illuminator. There is no location for sakshi. Pramata, pramanam are internal. Prameyam is external. These are all with reference to the objects of knowledge. And the knowing principle is the sakshi, in which there is no division. It is akhanda satchidananda rupaha. Akhanda means divisionless. These are all deeper meanings of how you can go deeper and deeper within your own core of the personality. Every verse, 15, 16, 17, all these verses will take you deeper and deeper. Very, very good text of Panchadasi, the 10th chapter, ultimately tells you, you are that light, the sakshi of the entire cosmos. We'll see the 17th verse. We have 17 to 26. We'll try and finish it in about 2 to 3 sessions. After this, we'll be doing the 3rd chapter of Panchadasi. Very beautiful chapter. Whenever you do, see, you should be ready for 2 things. Number 1, you should have patience while studying Panchadasi. It is a slow, gradual knowledge which percolates deep within your mind. It will go deep and touch that subject and come back. In every session, you will find this happening in your mind. It will go to the deepest core of your personality, which is the Atma. It will touch that because each of these verses are meant for deeper understanding of our own true personality. So the first is you should be ready with patience, and the second is this Panchadasi is a text which will give you moksha. It will give you moksha means what? The freedom which ultimately you are seeking through any study of Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita or the Brahma Sutra. Whatever is the goal of study of these 3 is the study of Panchadasi. So with that, I'll stop today for the Panchadasi session. Now, next week, we'll start the 17th mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you have any questions, you can ask them. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions if you have any questions. Yeah. Anybody has anything? Whatever we studied today, the 2 verses which we studied, the 15, 16, is it clear?
Yes, yeah. It's very profound.
Yeah, Chandra, you have anything?
It's very profound.
Yeah, very, very profound. These are extremely deep verses for contemplation. As you listen to them itself, you will find that you are going deeper and deeper into your own true self. See, that's why I chose this 10th chapter, because it is a direct revelation of the Atma. See, the other chapters like chapter 3 and chapter 1, they take a longer time. And this particular chapter is, you see the verses and the meanings, you can see how deep this teacher is, you see. It is not saying that there is consciousness, it is not paroksha jnanam. It is not that there is something called as consciousness. This author, this teacher, he wants to drive his students to realize the Atma. See, that is the beauty of this text. So you will see this impact. You will see this impact in every chapter, and I truly love this text called as Panchadasi, because it is something which you can keep revising yourself also. You have understood, once you have understood the 10th chapter, on your own, you can easily do it. Just go through the verses and the meanings. let you can contemplate. And another point which will come out is, in all these sessions, you will find the technical aspects of Vedanta will be revealed. You see, the methodology in which we can understand the subjective science is through terms and methods. There is a method process. Technically, there is a process. And that process is very beautifully identified. All the technical terms, all the concepts we will be going through when we study the Panchadasi. Whatever you need to understand in the Upanishads, you will learn here in the Panchadasi text. You will learn the concepts and it will be very clear. Like in this 10th chapter, it is very clear you're talking about a self-evident consciousness, and that is our subject. So if you understand that, you will easily do your meditation very well, because you're not looking at some object. You're not trying to bring, you see, in the initial phase of meditation, you need an object, like a picture of Rama, picture of Sita, Devi. You need to bring that. That is what is called as Saguna Ishvara Upasana. That is not Nirguna Upasana. Whereas here we are talking about purely directly reaching yourself as sakshi. Drop your mind, drop your thoughts, just be yourself. That is your self-revelation. In every chapter, Vidyaranya Swami follows this style. And this is what makes it very direct. Yeah, any other thoughts? Shama, you have anything today? Okay. Malati, anything from your side? Yeah, Malati? Yeah, Shama?
Namaste, Hariom. So, just one question. So, it is only the light of this sakshi awareness that we are able to see at any given moment, the inside and the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inside means your emotions and thoughts.
Yeah,
Outside
and
means the whole world.
Yeah.
This is the easiest way of saying I am the sakshi.
Mm-hmm.
There is
This
nothing.
aham.
Yeah, aham stands for sakshi.
Yeah, so the aham and the idam, and where the idam also includes our internal
Yes.
thoughts and emotions.
Yes.
Everything. Everything. So, and obviously in the Jagrat state, it is at the highest level, one should assume, the sakshi awareness.
Yes, because only in Jagrat Avastha you can claim that you are sakshi.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Jagrat Avastha is a state of ignorance for a ajnani. You see, for a person who knows, who has gone through this process of study, and he knows there is some light inside me, which is revealing my mind, then he or she is a jnani. Jnani means exposed to Veda. So the person thinks that I am no longer the mind. Immediately the person will say, I am the sakshi. Whereas ajnani is living in ignorance. Ignorance means the whole waking state is entirely, the whole waking state is in ignorance.
So why is it that despite in the Jagrat state, there are times when the sakshi awareness state in this Jagrat state is extremely alert and active, And at other times when we are swamped by emotions or thoughts,
submerged, completely
submerged.
submerged. Yes.
It's kind of wiped off. What
Yes.
happens to the sakshi? Why is it not knocking at the door and saying, "Come on, what's wrong with you?" You know?
Yes. You see, the reason for this is prarabdha.
Oh.
The moment the prarabdha attacks my mind, I get overwhelmed by my mind. The prarabdha for which this body has been taken. You see, the body is taken for certain emotions to be experienced till the end of your life.
Exhausting, yeah.
Yes, you are exhausting your prarabdha. The moment you say, "Oh my God, my whole day is gone. I have not even thought about sakshi today." Your prarabdha has taken over you. Nothing to worry. I'm still there. I am the same sakshi revealed by the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads. My prarabdha overwhelms my light of consciousness.
And how do you know that you're not adding more to it?
Only when you come and when you continuously are in the scriptural study, you will find that I'm not adding anymore because I'm growing in consciousness. I'm growing every day in my awareness. Every day is a small increase in the space between me and the mind, in me and my mind, me and my mind. Slowly you're increasing that space. And the greatest proof is you yourself will say, I am more relaxed than I was 2 years ago. It is your own bhava inside. Even though I am having emotions and turbulences inside, I am much more composed today. Much more composed because that knowledge is a very, very subtle process. It comes inside our subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
That knowledge trickles down to our subconscious mind, and it will keep all the turbulences which you undergo at the superficial level of your mind, and you will be able to face the life much more strongly than before.
So am I to understand that?
Yeah.
That overall, like one can sort of see, if you were to draw a little trajectory, you can see, yes, slowly, steadily, you're making some kind of a spiritual progress in terms of how easy it is to connect with the whole universal consciousness. I mean, it comes very natural and simple. On the other hand, because of the prarabdha, there will be certain situations where you feel you're locked inside it, you know?
Yes.
And that,
for everybody, it's not you. For everybody, this prarabdha is the obstacle in which we are caught up, and we are helpless.
Terrifying.
Helpless. Only the situations may be different. You may face a certain situation. Malati may have a different situation. Ram Kumar may have a different situation. I may have a different situation. But all of us are caught in the prarabdha.
Incredible.
All of us are caught in prarabdha, but we have a methodology to free ourselves if we know the Shastra. You see?
Yeah.
That is what makes a difference between people who are doing the Panchadasi or the Upanishads and the people who are not at all in this field. You ask a layman, ask him, how's his day? He will just keep on rambling some samsara throughout the day. That's it. Ask him, does he have a formula to come out? No, I don't know. I don't know. That will be the at least you will make an attempt to understand and say, yes, okay, please understand, there is even the trickle knowledge which you get from the study of the Shastra is enough for you. Big difference,
And
ocean of a difference.
and sometimes what is interesting is I'm actually just drawing insights from where I'm currently in the particular situation that I'm in,
Yeah.
where although it feels very negative, very unpleasant, on the other hand, at some level, it is very, very instructive. Like, I can just see that unless you do something about it, you will land exactly where I'm talking in reference to my 93-year-old mother,
Yes.
who is so willful, she's so stubborn, she's so this thing. And she makes me feel I'm doing everything possible in my might to do everything for her and really, really working very hard towards that end. And yet she has the capacity to make me feel like that a 7-year-old little girl where I could just never do right. Can you imagine?
It's possible. It's not only you, Shama, it is every one of us.
Yeah.
Every one of us in our family situations, you are having a certain type of family situation, but every one of us are helpless in such a situation.
Can't do anything.
You have to face it and say, this is a passing phase. I will go through it. I cannot change it. There is no way you can change it. I cannot change my prarabdha. I have to face it. It will go through. The body has to go through. You just be patient and say, my body has to go through, my mind has to go through this prarabdha. Let me just go, let me not take it too seriously. That's all.
Also, but the good positive side of it is it's very instructive. It's very instructive and
Yes.
educative. That unless you do something, my dear girl, you will actually be exactly where she is
Yes.
in a few years. So that's the instruction part. So I think, thank God I'm learning this, because
That's
unless you really,
You see,
so that's
you see that is why they say in the ocean of samsara, you have a lighthouse to hold on to. This consciousness, awareness is the internal lighthouse for all of us. Whenever you are in deep emotional pain, hold on to this light of consciousness. It is there. Never have a doubt that this God which we are talking about is in this body. Never have that doubt. It is there. God is
I
not.
like your analogy of the mind.
It is not outside. It is inside me. The moment I turn the direction of my mind from the outside mother problem into the direction of the light inside, I will find a lot of peace inside.
Yeah.
Split second. You don't have to do for 1 hour meditation. Just bring the teaching back for 5 minutes. Najayate mriyate karachet. One verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Keep 1 or 2 verses like this for your own remedy to bring back your mind to your core. It can be just verses.
Yeah.
And remember that one verse again and again. Let it be a part of you.
Yes.
Any verse you like in the Gita, just take that one verse and say, and see whether you are able to draw your mind away from the problem to this Atma. Because that verse will be your saving ground to come back to your peace.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, because this is all about trying to get your ego down, because I've always believed I can do it.
Yes.
I'm being taught, no, you cannot do it.
Yes, see, there are certain situations we are absolutely, that ego thinks that it can do a lot of things in life, but ego is absolutely helpless.
Yeah, it needs a defeat like this.
You see, your money which you're holding in the bank account is no use. When you feel so powerless, when it comes to health situations. You feel powerless when it comes to emotional states. This is where the Bhagavad Gita helps us, the Upanishads and this study helps us.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It can help us. Let the study keep going on. Don't leave the study. That is the main thing I would like to recommend. Even let it happen. Let the world go on. At the same time, let me not leave my swadhyaya.
And it's the grace of God that we have a satsanga like this.
Yes,
you know.
It is absolutely in this world today to have this peace of mind and even to think about Atma and consciousness for half an hour, 1 hour, is a tremendous punyam we have done in life.
True, very true. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
It's a very good answer.
So, months back, I was in the regular mode of. Am I audible?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. 3 months back, I was in the regular mode of meditation thing. Morning 1.5 hours, afternoon 1.5 hours, and evening 1.5 hours. I was completely merged in that. Then I started study of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. Still my meditation was continuing. But 3 months back, my meditation has completely stopped. But my swadhyaya is continuous.
Yes.
Daily I spend 2 to 3 hours on the swadhyaya and just spend 5 to 10 minutes in nididhyasana. So that was a guilty thing for me, because I am doing the meditation was the great ego boost for me.
That's correct.
So every meditator has this great
That's
ego.
correct.
I am meditating.
Yeah, that's correct.
But,
so
yes.
Let it happen in its own time. Let the study continue, because study, ultimately, it is the study which reveals the consciousness. It is not the meditation.
Today you told no, do the swadhyaya and spend at least 10 minutes on the nididhyasana, means recollecting your. So now I am relieved that I am on the right path.
Very good. Well done. Extremely good. I'm very happy to know that you are now relieved, because see, the mind is a very, very difficult instrument for all of us to understand what is this mind. You know, I'm telling you, that is what is called as Maya. You cannot understand this nature of the mind. The only way to tackle your mind is transcend the mind. Just let the mind be there, but you come out of it and try to see it as a sakshi. That is the only method which is available from the Veda. It says that the mind is something you will never be able to control. You will feel as if I'm controlling the mind. It is taking you for a ride, actually. It is causing more and more delusions in you. That delusion.
Malati has just inspired me to ask you a question. So if we were looking at a single most important enemy of our spiritual progress, what would that be? One single thing which is really always coming as a stumbling block, because she just referred to something. It must be the ego, isn't it? It's our ego which is our biggest battle to fight against. Our own ego, nothing outside. Our own ego is coming in our way. Is that fair?
Yeah, Malati would like to answer that question from Rama.
The great ego of a human being is the great stumble block. You consider any ritual person, he looks down upon a non-religious ritualistics. When you consider a meditative person, he looks down upon non-meditative person. Means his ego, I am doing this, I am doing this, I am in the pure path, I am pure. That ego is the greatest block in the path, I think. What do you say, Benji?
Very good. Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Good.
Very well.
Anyway, these are all experiences for all of us. Thank you, Malati, for sharing your own personal experience in this field, because all of us have some problems connected with the ego. It's not that you alone, everybody has this problem.
But my problem is, when I am doing Swadhyay, when I am studying this Brahma Sutra or Upanishads, when I'm doing Nididhyasana, then I'll be completely in the Vedantic state of mind.
Yes.
But in other 22 hours, I am a perfectly Laukika person. That is the
that is for all of us, right? For all of us. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else has a question?
Mr.
Yeah,
Shekhar,
Jacqueline.
normal? Is it normal?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, Jacqueline.
no, Mr. Shekhar, I think I have asked this before. Would you please re-elaborate for me for the word being and doing? And doing is always associated with action as a human being. And action is equal, doing is equal to action is equal to activities. As a being, it comes automatically. So as a human being, how do we work on that? You know, that's what I'm asking.
Okay. Good question. See, the way you should look at it is, you take yourself in this body. You say that I am the consciousness. You start from there. So you start as I, the consciousness. And then now you want to understand the difference between the consciousness, which is a being, and the doer in this body, which is what I call it as the pramata. Okay, there are two I's in this. The ego I, which is the doer. There is a being, a pure being, which is called as sakshi. When you focus your attention, it is possible. Whatever I'm telling you is possible to do. Each one of us can do it. When I do not identify with my organs of knowledge or organs of action, then I am the pure being. Listen very carefully. I am there in this body. I can be this pure being, or I can be the doer. The doer can get attached to the sense organs the moment I get attached to the eyes. Immediately the forms will come. I get attached to the ears. This is the organs of knowledge. The moment that pure I leaves its real nature and links or attaches to the sense organs of knowledge, it becomes the knower of the world. The moment it identifies with the organs of action, that means you start in your own mind, you start thinking, I have to do this, I have to run up to the shop tomorrow. Then you are identifying with your sense organs of action, and then that is what is called as action. It is you're going away from your being into the world of action or into the world of knowledge. The 5 sense organs draw you to the world of knowledge. The 5 organs of action draw you to the world of action. Now, but you can remain as yourself without these 2 identifications. That is what the Upanishads teach us. Even in your mind, this is what in your article which you had circulated in the Divine Codes, if you read that article between the lines, go deeper into that quotation, 1 page which you had sent, Eckhart et al. Confirms whatever the Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads is teaching. You can remain as a pure presence without getting attached to your thoughts. This pure presence is the light of consciousness in this body, which is the reflected light of consciousness. This light of consciousness, if you are attached to it, it is the pure light in the whole universe, in the whole cosmos. This is what Eckhart et al. Says in that article which you sent. And if you get attached to the thoughts in the mind, what happens is it becomes an individual mind. And if there is an individual mind, there is a total mind also, which is called as Hiranyagarbha in the Vedas, you know, that total. So you, the reflected consciousness, that means the pure I, the pure being in this, you can easily remain as the pure being without identification with your organs of knowledge, which is you must experience, especially you are doing yoga and all that, you'll be easily able to experience this. At the end of your yoga, just apply this rule, which I'm telling you. Whatever at the end of your yoga program, sit for 5 minutes and just be as your pure being. Whenever your mind is going towards the world, then you are becoming a doer. Suppose your mind is not going towards the world, it is remaining inside with that sakshi or Atma, that is the pure being. So you will be able to experience what I'm saying as a pure being, and that pure being, remember, this pure nature of yours is, nobody can take this away. It is yourself. It is that self you are seeking. And it is that self which you have now been able to identify as your pure being and not the mind. You have always identified with the mind, and then that becomes the doer. Either it is doing through the organs of knowledge something with the world, or it is doing something with your organs of action. So you learn with this knowledge, you just learn to remain as that pure being and grow in that awareness. When you grow in that awareness again and again, practice this. When you grow in that awareness, you will be more aware of the world. You will become more aware of everything which is happening around you, but with a lot of clarity, but not with a lot of agitations in your mind. Before, there were a lot of agitations along with your daily, but now slowly you will find I can remain without that agitation. I can remain composed. I can remain and see the situation much more clearly because your mind has got used to seeing the self. Seeing the self and knowing the self is the same, because ultimately it is the same mind which was going outside. It learns to remain with the Atma. the pure self, the pure being. Okay, good. Yeah, very deep questions. I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Okay, can I just ask another question?
Yeah.
In the aspect that, you know, being is like, there's no action, there's no activities. It just happened, it flow. So our human body, just like our heart, our blood, our brain system, in fact, there's nothing that we do. And is it equivalent to being?
No. The heart, the digestive system, the brain, all these are all physical organs. They are not the consciousness.
Yeah, but then it happened, it just happened. I mean, we have no control.
The difference between the organs and the difference between those heart beating, the heart pumping the blood, and your consciousness is the consciousness knows I am. Consciousness is a knowing principle. It is sentient principle. The body, the heart doesn't know it is. There is a difference between sentient consciousness and insentient body.
Oh, because what happened is I relate. Awareness is like invisible, profound. The heart pumping, the blood flowing that sustain this body. Then it is the job of the consciousness that illuminate that the whole thing is being flow in our heart, and we have in our system that we wake up, we have to sleep, we wake up. I mean, because when we go to sleep, if we don't have alarm, it will just automatically wake you up. That's all, unless there's something happen.
Yeah, what wakes you up automatically is what is called as the law of karma.
So it's nature.
Yes, it is the nature of the law of karma wakes you up every day in the morning at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and you start your day. Again, you go through the process of your actions. Again, you come back. But all this is happening only at the mind level. There is a higher level, which is this consciousness.
Yeah, that's
the pure being is, that is why you, whatever I said in this session, I said that the waking state is a state of ignorance.
Yes, yes.
It is a state of ignorance about my pure being.
Yeah. Okay.
The dream state anyway is ignorance because I'm totally deluded in dream.
Yeah.
The sleep state is 100% ignorance because it is, I don't even know who I am.
Okay, okay. Because, yeah, okay, yeah.
So all the three states are what? Ignorance.
Yeah.
But who am I? I am the knowledge principle who knows this. I am the sentient principle. I am the pure knowledge. I am.
Yes.
That is what is there, which is it is a living being. That pure being is a living being. It is not inert. It is not a table. It is not a wall. It is not a chair. The chair doesn't know itself. And the chair does not know other chairs. But I am the pure being. I, the consciousness, know myself, and which is self-illumining. There is nothing which illumines the consciousness except, and that is the vibrancy which I feel once I reach this pure being. You will feel that there is a vibrant, living, sentient nature which I didn't know before. It's full of power. It's full of energy.
Yes, I fully concur with what you say.
Yes.
The reason is, I think by asking you this question, now I gain another aspect of consciousness. In fact, I was I relate myself just like a system that I have, my heart is pumping, I go to sleep and my blood is circulating. And I also find that I told myself this is part of the consciousness. But by you explaining it, you are saying that no, it is not part of the consciousness. It is a part of the nature that we as a human being, we are like that. As a consciousness, we are not. In fact, the blood pumping system, the brain is not consciousness at all.
Yes, there is no consciousness in the heart. It is all, the consciousness is a independent principle. Whatever we are seeing, experiencing is called as nature.
Okay,
and nature is prakriti, it is inert.
Okay, okay.
So don't confuse between nature and consciousness. Consciousness means sentiency. I am, the knowingness. You see, knowingness is that knowingness you should never miss, because that is what makes me different than a table.
Okay, so I have a better edge that is like I'm dissecting another aspect which I thought it was part of consciousness. I thought it was illuminating, the heart is pumping, because the heart never say, hey, I'm so tired, you don't go and pump, you know, that you don't breathe, you know. No,
it's nature. It is automatically, like the breathing process is going on automatically.
Yeah, unless the breathing is not there, then we are going to another body, you know. So
yes,
that's how I relate. So you're saying that no, it is not that way. Therefore, for this question, I gain another aspect of knowledge. They are really separate.
Yes, there is going to be the next chapter after the 10th chapter. I'm going to do the 3rd chapter. In that chapter, you'll find more clarity for your question.
Okay, good, great.
In that chapter, I'll be telling you why you are not the 5 koshas, you know, the sheets. Why you are not the prana, why you're not the body, why you're not the mind, why you're not the intellect, why you're not the happiness experienced in sleep. That chapter will tell you how to go deeper into this.
Okay, appreciate. I mean, by asking, again another aspect which I need to digest further.
Yes.
Appreciate.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll close for the day. It's already quite late. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.